Pressure only got
In the flesh.
No, you're not recording.
Playing
This is
the
about
role.
to
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
that.
I just started it.
the role of Morris.
Yeah.
Ronnie Bennington, right?
So,
That's why I bet he, I know he's not coming.
yeah, Morris would have started it right away.
What?
Uh,
To the center, to Douglas Murray.
Yeah, I saw that way.
was recording, stop recording. Okay. So it goes like this. It goes like this. You're asking why Yirmiyah is doing it there and at that particular juncture. The reason is because Elisha is going to be attributed by Yirmiyah as where the paradigm shift took place. That's where it happened. Looking back, if you ask me to explain how that works, when Yirmiyah is going to say, you know when that shift started? Elisha was the one who started that shift. Through Eliyahu, it's all he says he didn't like what was going on. He started the fire. He did the whole thing. He started the fire, right? So therefore, that was how he worked. But not that was how he worked. He's out to deceive the people, right? He says, if I don't resort to deception, I'm the only guy left, right? I'm the last guy left. So he finds himself in a no-win situation, according to him. That said, to further enhance the answer to your question, the twins, when they're born, right? Esav and Yaakov, remember that Esav is the firstborn. Yaakov, his mother is the one who gives him the advice, and he goes along with it, resorts to deceit to get the Pishnayim.
Right.
He says he has
So
I'm calling it Pishnayim. I'm calling it the Bechorah. He resorts to deception. You can't resort to deception. It doesn't work that way. What the Rab will call it the ends don't justify the means.
So that's the hairy one here is
So
the same thing.
so over here, he resorts to deception in order to bring about.
So was it was the hairy one.
Yeah.
Hairy is Elisha.
Yeah, they're both called Aderet Sa'ar.
Mhm.
They're right. He's Aderet Sa'ar.
Right.
He's hairy,
Yeah.
and right,
Mhm.
and he's hairy. I mean, we pointed that out last week.
The smooth guy, Yaakov, did the deception. Here, the hairy guy.
No, I'm not saying it that way.
That
No, I'm saying it the other way.
reverse.
One is Eliyahu and one is playing Elisha, basically.
Eliyahu is the hairy guy,
Yeah.
and Eliyahu is the one, and Esav is the hairy guy.
Yeah.
You're saying it's a reversal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, yeah.
No. So
It's the
Eli,
paradigm shift.
right. So Eliyahu is going to resort to deception. Yaakov is going to resort to deception. Yaakov is going to make himself hairy
Right.
in order to get it.
Right.
He's going to make himself hairy,
Make himself like Esav.
right?
Correct.
And Eliyahu is hairy. He is hairy, right? That's what he's known as, right? So isn't he resorting to deception?
Yeah.
The bottom line is Eliyahu is resorting to deception.
Right. And God says, I'm not interested.
I mean, the people, and if anybody hears this who believes in magic, they say, well, of course, he made magic. He did a supernatural thing, and God, man, a miracle happened, right? But we know that that's not what happened, because Hashem told him, when he told him, I did the whole thing and it didn't work, and he was very bothered by it, he tells him, I don't work that way. With the last thing being, I'm not in the fire. That means that's your fire, not my fire. Now, if you want to know how critical the point is, the Torah, one of the major themes going on in the Torah is Yaakov's deception in order to get the future. Right? He wants the P9, he wants the double. He's going to deceive in order to get it. You can't deceive in order to get it. So how big is that point? I'm asking you. Now I'm asking you, how important is that point that you can't resort to deception in order to get your ends?
Yaakov pays for it his whole life.
Exactly. The whole Bereshit's gonna. How much of Bereshit's gonna?
Right.
Right. So that's how important this subject is. It's that important.
Right.
So when Milachim is coming along, you're seeing that take place, but with the Nevi, not in the Bereshit imagery of that, but in, when I say Bereshit, I mean therefore, Bereshit can use
Stories and.
all.
Right.
So it's all.
Right.
Whereas in the other one, you're dealing with the practical with the real
It's really
application.
Right.
It's really happening. The Eliyahu did function like that. Elisha turns around to him and tells him, I want Pishnaim. He tells him, if you see me going to the end,
Right.
then you will get Pishnaim. Elisha never resorts to any deception.
Right.
Elisha himself does not resort to deception, does he? No, he does not. That's what I'm saying. So so therefore, that's where the paradigm shift takes place. His seeing him to the end means I'm going to be in the Sarah. I'm going to go up in that state, and you're going to watch it and witness it. And I'm going to stay in the theodicy, difficulty situation. You're going to see me going through that and all the way to the end. And you're going to go forward from there. If you go forward from there, then you'll get the Pishnaim.
Right.
You will. That's how it's putting it forth. He attempts in the Torah. He attempts to get Pishnaim, and he fails. He fails.
Deception.
What do you mean he fails? He's the one who's successful. He's the one, and he has to tell him, "You're right. I never should have done it." Then he gets the future. No, then he gets it. But that's only when he comes to terms with the fact that he never should have done
He did
it.
something wrong. Right.
It was all wrong.
Yeah, he got it.
So therefore, that's saying that what Eliyahu did was wrong.
Is Eliyahu realizing at the end also that he did wrong?
He doesn't accept it.
No,
No, he never accepts
It
it.
goes up in the whirlwind.
He,
That's the idea.
he goes up in the Sarah, means he leaves the scene. He leaves the scene in the midst of the theodicy. He's not satisfied. He's not happy with the results. He doesn't accept it. Elisha accepts it. That's how you have to think of it. So how critical is this point? Well, it's everything, because it's the nation now going forward. It's the nation. When I say going forward, I mean advancing, from evolving. It's evolving. It's no longer into this thing of supernatural acts, and people do supernatural acts and believing.
And also why they try and go find them a little bit, like the people that Hamishim
Other-
and Hashim are running to go.
Yeah.
No, what do you mean? We got to find them. It's not over.
Yeah. Of course.
but it's.
They don't
They don't want to accept it either.
They don't like it. They don't like it.
But as far as Gibeah is concerned, at the time when Gibeah is putting this out,
Yeah.
also there's gonna be a korban, there's gonna be destruction, there's gonna be like that. We're gonna go forward in a new.
Well,
I'm just.
he's he is. This is educating the nation to this reality,
Right.
right?
Using Elisha and Eliyahu, and they're.
In his time, centuries later,
Right.
last week or the week before we said at more than one occasion, what do the women tell him in Egypt after the destruction and after everything is over? It's because we listened to you and we stopped making the sambusak and offering it to her. If we would have continued, everything would have been better. That's people who live in a world that believe in superstition
Right.
and idolatry. That's idolatry, right?
Still need to get that message.
That's 2 centuries later. No, not only them, it's the whole nation. Idolatry is rampant. Idolatry is rampant. Sure, well, this is where that's where the paradigm shift is gonna take place.
Right.
In reality, where does the paradigm shift take place? He is going to turn around and say, there's a Brit Hadashah. And it's not going to be like the Brit when I took them out from Egypt. It's a new, Alibam Ichtobena and Kulan Yed'oti. It's going to be a different, that's Rabbinic Judaism. That's the beginning. That's day one of Rabbinic Judaism. That's how you think of it. Day one. In other words, it took a couple of centuries to develop because you're talking 586 and by 100, right, of the Common Era,
So
right?
would you say that's a shift from prophets to kind of rabbis as we know them, and prophecy is supposed to go to each individual person? Isn't that what
Well, something like that. Ideally, yes. So some of those rabbis are functioning on a very advanced level, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, something like that. So therefore, the answer to you is that it is important. It's in the Torah and it's here. And it's one of the most critical points. I told you this is going to be 11 or 13 chapters of 20 something to 25. And oh, Biruchim Habayim, everybody, to this guy, yeah.
20 minutes, I popped on
Yeah.
this third.
Put it in the driveway. Why don't you put it in the
I
driveway?
pulled up.
We pulled up all the way for you.
Oh, you're in the driveway too.
There's still room for another car.
I was on East Fourth.
Why not?
I purposely
No, I
pulled up.
Yeah,
But you blocked.
Oh, now you blocked.
Cause I don't wanna block the sidewalk.
Oh,
That's my dad told me not to do that last
uh,
time.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how you.
I would block the sidewalk.
well, is there a wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once there's a wedding, you finish. Yeah.
Oh, usually there's a wedding.
There's something later.
Okay, give me a piece of cake.
You know what she asked me just now? She said, "Is Joey coming?" I said, "He didn't say he was coming." She says, "What do you mean? I made the cake for him."
Oh, Joey's home.
Now, when she's giving a session downstairs, when she hears that, she's gonna say, "Oh, good, okay."
I'll have a piece.
See, he smiled. He's happy.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
There's another very rare Demama Daka in Iyov,
Yeah.
and then he tells him, "Hen ba'abadav lo ya'min, mal'achav yasim tahola." He says, "I don't even trust my own servants and my messengers." I wonder if he's commenting on Eliyahu of sorts.
I wonder. That's a very good question. We need Morris here to respond to you now. Right.
Because it says Demama, because he's trying to tell him, about what all of it means is that I heard it Demama Daka, and then and then I don't trust my servants, which is a very awkward way of saying things.
Where did you want to tell us
Yeah.
the?
4 Eob 4:16.
Let's just everybody, if you want to open up to EO 4:16, let's just look at it. I think we brought this up before. V'roha al panay yahlov tsamer sarat besari, mod lo ikir mareo tumana v'nei l'nei t'ema, v'kol ishma. Oh, there you go. There's a call, right? Hey, nosh milo astak im meoseo yitar gabir. So yeah. So I think we brought this up. So anyway, what are you saying?
I'm saying, is he commenting on Eliyahu's failure? Because it's him ba'abadav lo ya'min. He doesn't trust his servants and messengers.
Right. This requires a lot of discussion. Yeah.
Below Makira, Marievo. That's another funny one.
Right.
That's the Yaakov and Esav.
Yeah. Yeah. I think clearly and for sure, this is related. For not maybe, it's positively related to our question, Isaac. And maybe the next time we'll talk about it. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, I wasn't going to do this tonight because I felt bad for the guys who are not here, and I wanted to continue forward in Melachim with everybody here. So I said we'll do, and in 40 minutes, we could do it. I'd like to go through the whole shirei hama'alot and the superscriptions to change the subject. Next week, we'll come back when everybody's here, and we'll go forward.
No complaints.
But
They can just text me, the wedding didn't start yet.
the wedding didn't even start.
Last night was
Yeah.
on time,
I know,
on
it's
time.
great, by the way.
Some.
They would
What a pleasure.
they went to change at 10 o'clock.
Nice.
So since we're working on superscriptions, I have one, yeah. Since we're working, some of these are not exactly the same, but the front pages are the same. Those of you who are online, you'll have to listen because we're looking at charts which talk about the shirei hama'alot.
Can't share it.
And I wanted to take this opportunity, even though we're gonna break the pattern for those of you online, we're gonna break the pattern of going ahead with the Eliyahu to with the Elisha material. I really feel that I don't wanna the guys who come next week will be lost. Unless I have to force them to listen to
The recording.
a recording, we could do that also. Yeah,
It's up to you. It's your place.
yeah, we could do that.
Pat, your bull.
No, because.
I say when they're all here, it's easier.
This is a good compact class. that you
Yeah,
can
it's
do.
it's quick and it's fast. And I want to bring out something critical about it. Since in the podcast, we're talking about superscriptions, where one of the things that Rabbi Ralphie wants to talk about is the shirei hama'alot, and he wants to know how they work. So I made these sheets over here to give you a sense of how they work. For those of you who are listening, if you have a Tanakh in front of you, you could look at the shirei hama'alot, which should come at Mizmor 120 through 134. There are 15 of them.
Pull it up on your phone.
I'm sorry?
Pull it up on your phone and then share your screen.
Yeah, but it's a little teeny thing. I don't think they'll really see. It's 15 of them. They can't see anything. I would put it up if it was, So it goes like this. There are 15. There are 15 shirei hama'alot. The shirei hama'alot open up at 120 with shirei hama'alot. El Adonai basarata li karati ve'aneni. Now, it's important to know when you're in book 5 that you are coming to the conclusion of book 5, and this review is very important. Otherwise, you won't get it well. Open up to the to 120. And notice that the Mizmor right before 120 is Kof Yotet, which is, of course, what you call 8 in spades. Eight verses for every letter of the alphabet. This is the one with the 73 quintillion possibilities, right? And before it, right before that acrostic, which takes up 5% of Tehillim, 5% of the whole book is that, you have Halil. And Halil goes from 113 to 118. Now, I'm going to just remind you that if you take a look at 118 and you look at the opening words, AB, read, after it says, like he taught Kilolam Hasto in 118, it says, Yomadna Yisrael, Kilolam Hasto, Yomru Na Bet Haron, and Yomru Na Yirei Adonai, Kilolam Hasto, right? Then what does it say? They can't hear you. What?
Oh, Minam Mesar Karatiya, Anani Bamirhabya.
Right. Hold on to that. Open up to the skip through 119 and go to the opening words of the Shirei HaMa'alot. What's the verse?
Right. Basarat Ali, right?
Yeah, read it. And you'll see it's
Right.
Yeah.
Shira Ma'alot El Adonai, Basarat Ali. Karati Vayaneni. Oh.
Yeah, so say it,
Right, right.
say it, say it. So therefore what? It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So you take the opening word
Right, Anani Babel.
of the last, listen carefully, you take the opening words of the first, of the last Mizmor of Hallel, and you take the opening words of the first Mizmor, the shirei hama'alot, and you quote each other, and you form a literary envelope around
Around
119. It's like connecting you. Yes, we went from here, we presented the Berit in, again,
Spades.
in spades, and then we move to the shirei hama'alot, and you have the connecting link. That said, you backspace, I'm taking you backwards now, when you're in 13 to 118, what about 111 and 112? Take a look at 111 and 112, and what do you see? Two acrostics, perfect acrostics. One of them is about Hashem. You see that, everybody? You all know that one because you say it on Saturday afternoon. And 112 is the one about the man. Look at the opening words, AB.
השרי איש ירא אדוני במשפטיו, חמד חפץ מאוד.
Keep going.
כל בארץ יהיה זכרו דור ישרים מבורך.
Keep going.
הון ועושר בביתו וצדקתו עומדת לעד.
Now read the hair vav, the hair letter in 111. Go backwards and read it.
Okay. הוד והדר פעולו וצדקתו עומדת לעד.
And the hair for the man
is הון ועושר בביתו וצדקתו עומדת לעד.
right?
Okay.
So they will parallel each other in an amazing way, crisscross parallel. So I have written in the commentary that 111 is Hashem in the covenant, 112 is man in the covenant, and it's man's role in the Berit and God's role in the Berit. Good?
Mhm.
Good. Now, listen carefully. 108, 109, and 110 you have to skip right now because the book begins at 107. 108, 109, and 110 are nothing more than looking back and quoting almost verbatim parts of different things that were said in book one. It's like after 107 opens up, which is where you're going to be reading on Pesach a lot of times, you go and you recall the extremely difficult times that brought us. Because what are the opening words of 107 and book 5?
הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו.
So Hodun like you told Kilo Hastor, where are you going to find those words in
And the Hallel.
in the Hallel?
Right.
Where in the Hallel? In 118.
Right.
Aren't you going to find it in 118?
Yeah, first pasuk.
Right. Instead of, how does it open? It says, Hodun like you told Yomru Geulei Adonai Asher Ge'alam Mi'atzad. The opening to the book doesn't say Yomru Geulei Adonai Asher Ge'alam Hodun like you told. It says, like you told them, will be said by those who are redeemed, right? When you get to 118, it doesn't say Yomru, it's Yomar Na, right? Yomru Na Bet Haron, Yomru Na Yirei Adonai. And then you start with the, so all of those are Kilo Lam Hastos.
It's a statement
So-
of fact as opposed to a guy just coming out of a situation.
Well, it might be both. So Hodu like he took Kilo Hastor, you open the book on, you get to the end, the last Mizmor of Hayil, Kilo Hastor, and you say it and you quote to different people, and then you go through all the way till the end. And what are the last words of 118? AB loud. Let him say. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. Right. So you make an envelope around it. So you go like this. Like you talk about Hastor, you open the book. You come to the end of Heliel, you open up the last resort. Like you talk about Hastor, you close it with like Kitob, Kilolam Hasdor.
And it's
Good.
breakfast also, that was more. Also, he got bought on your Hasdo. They met Adonai, they don't have hallelujah.
That's the 16 word smallest
Right, Hallel.
yeah, Heliel. Smallest Mizmor. Right.
Asher Galam is God, it's not like Maserat. I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
the beginning of 107.
Yes, it is. So, right, Asher Gelami outside, right? The other one is more because it says Vayaneni, and he answered me. Are you following this, David, so far? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Good. So now, Isaac, you good with it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you get it. You've got a picture of the book. It's super celebratory, right? Super celebratory, right? It's the return. They're coming back. And by the way, Lee, why is Hodul like he told Hasso such the most important thing that you can be recalled? Do you know? Does anybody know why it's the most important thing to quote?
Well, yeah, says I'm gonna celebrate you. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna.
He says in the beginning, there won't be any more. Odi Shama Bare Yehuda Chosot Yerushalayim, right? In the beginning, he says there's not going to be any of that. In the end, he says they're going to be Odi Shama Kol Omrim Hodul Adonai Kitov Ki Leolam Hastor. There's going to be weddings, and they're going to say, you're going to hear the singing and and the dancing of the wedding and the marriages that are taking place, and they're going to say, They're going to attest to that reality. So you can't get anything better. Like it's the high point of Yirmiyah's recalling of a time when things will be amazing. So how do you open up the fifth book with that Yomru? They're going to say. Who's saying those words? Yirmiyah saying those words. He's in the midst of the thing. He says they're going to say it with tremendous amount of confidence. Then he's going to turn to the two, 111 and 112, man and Hashem and man and the Beri. Then the Hallel. Then the Hallel. That's correct. And then he's going to culminate Hallel with Hodu on the opening and closing words. And then he's going to turn to 119, which we can't do tonight because that's a year, right? And then he turns to the shirei hama'alot, which hama'alot, we have to say, has to do with whatever the words imply. Ma'al, up, looking forward, going forward, optimism, and so on and so forth, for sure. Whatever thing you want to call it, steps, visions, up, looking forward, it for sure means that. And when he does it, when he starts, he picks up with those words, and then he starts to go forward with the imagery. Now, there's not a lot of time, so I want to point out a couple of important things on the sheets that you have in front of you. And the guys who don't have the sheets, you could look up the verses. There are repeating verses that are used in the Shirei HaMa'alot. In 120, what is the first thing that he talks about in 120? Does anybody know in short what he says in 10 words, 5 words?
You saved me in my startup.
Peaceful tongue.
Right. I was in big trouble. Right? Rabat Shachana in verse 120, verse 6. Rabat Shachana la nafshi im son'eh shalom. Ani shalom, I would speak peace. They want to make war. So he. Oh, wow.
I'll move over.
What the heck? We would have continued with everything we were going to do, and
You killed us.
it killed us.
How's Douglas?
Okay.
Parent teacher conference.
Okay.
That's why you gave it tickets.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. So in the opening, it quickly take a look at verse 4. Lee, you could translate 120 verse 4.
A warrior sharp arrows with hot coals of broomwood.
Right. Keep reading.
woe is me that I live with Meshach. And I
right?
dwell with the clans of Kedar.
Woe is me, I suffered under those, they wanted to kill him, right? Of course, he's talking about internal enemies, not external enemies. Then in the next one, the famous one that you all know, the words is Ima Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Where else do you have that? Take a look at 124's 8th verse, the end of 124. AB, say it loud.
I can't see the numbers. 120.
No, look in the book. No, you don't have to look at the chart.
Oh,
That's correct. And look at the last verse of all of the shirei hama'alot, which is 134:3.
right? Also, Shamayim.
Yibarech Adonai Mitzion, Oseh Shemayim Va'aretz. You have the blessing, Hashem Shirei, he's the creator of heaven and earth. So at the beginning of the second of the 15, you have Oseh Shemayim Va'aretz. In 124, in the fifth one, in the last verse, is Re'em B'Shem Elai Oseh Shemayim Va'aretz. And then you come there. These repeating refrains will occur throughout the Shirei HaMa'alot. There's other ones that will occur, and I'll just point them out very quickly to you. Take a look at 134:1. Read that pasuk, A.B. loud. Wow, you're slow.
I can't see there.
No, here,
Okay,
forget that.
okay.
Yeah.
130.
Cancel.
What do you say? 134:1.
Yeah.
שיר המעלות, הנה ברכו את אדוני, כל עבדי אדוני, העומדים מבית אדוני בלילות. שאו ידיכם
Wait,
קודש.
that's 124:1?
34.
You said on
Oh, I'm sorry, 124:1.
24:1. שיר המעלות דוד נולד עליי שהיה לנו יומנה ישראל.
Yom Adonai Yisrael. Do you have another one? Take a look at 129:1. Read it loud.
29:1. שיר המעלות 14 עולים מנעורי. יומנה ישראל. יומנה ישראל.
So you see that refrain, that phrase repeating itself in the beginning of 129, just like you saw it in the beginning of 124. Now, there's another one that you'll have, and that is if you'll take a look at 125:5. Read that pasuk, AB.
5.
The Hametim
Yeah.
Yolichem.
ואמרתי מה תקלותם יוליכם עלי פועלי האבן שלום לישראל.
Shalom al Yisrael. That's the last verse of 125. Read the last verse of.
128. Right.
Good. Read it.
וראה בנים לבניך שלום לישראל.
Good. So now you see that he's using these statements, and sort of, if you look at me, he's starting outward and he's getting closer and he's getting closer and he's closer to the middle. I want to go straight to the middle. I can't do all of them now, but oh, by the way, there's one more I want to say. What is the 121's last verse, AB? Adonai Yishmor Sitcha Boecha Me'ata V'ad Olam. What is 125's second pasuk? Yerushalayim Harim Sabib La V'Adonai Sabib La'amor Me'ata V'ad Olam. Go to 131:3. Yahil Me'ata V'ad Olam. So it repeats. Good. Right away, when you have 15 things, immediately the first thing you're supposed to say when you have 15 things is what? What happens when you have 15 things?
7.
Huh?
7 and 8.
7 and 8. Right? That's 15.
No,
How do we know that? How do we know that? How many? Soli went like, really? How many Mizmorim are there in Tehillim? Soli? 150. What is the 80th Mizmor?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
If we're going to repeat that now, we'll be here all day long. We know that amazing structural things happen between, right? 1,313 verses, and then you turn to the 80th one, followed by 8,888 words. And we know the difference between the 80th and the 70th. And it's, of course, that what's another 15, another famous 15 that we know in the Torah? Who knows? Anybody?
Flood.
Fly?
Flood.
Flood. 150 days.
Oh, wow.
And then another 150, right?
Oh.
What's another one in the flood?
Another one in the flood?
In the flood.
Dates?
No, 15. When the water,
Receipts?
yeah, on hot, right, it's 50, the water goes up 15 amot beyond the highest mountain, right? Right? So every time you see 15, and that's of course why Tehillim uses it, the 15 is going to be the way of expressing the two together, right? Right? You're combining them. This does that. Now, I'm going to show you tonight, that's what I said, it's a nice thing to show you. I'm going to show it to you in spades.
When you say this, show who's that?
15, and that is the covenant, right? What is the middle of 15? 8. 7 on each side. Go to the 8th Mizmor. Does everybody know what the 8th Mizmor is? Look at me. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, right? Because it starts at 20 and ends at 34, right? So 127 is the middle.
Which is 271, which is in now.
Listen, what is that?
Goes back to the 80s.
127 is 271.
Exactly. Joey knows it. The 8th Mizmor in the shirei hama'alot, go all the way back and say the covenant in spades. And Joey says it goes back to the 8th Mizmor, and I want to show that to you. Shir hama'alot l'shlomo. This one is the only other l'shlomo that you have in Tehillim in the superscription, is the 72nd Mizmor, which says, this is what that's the end of my commentary on Shlomo, from a nation united to a nation divided. That's what could have been, that Shlomo. That's what he should have been, not what he was, right? This one, the criticism is overwhelming. Im Adonai lo yibnei bayit, if God doesn't build a house, Shav amilu bonav, its builders did it for nothing. Bonav bo. Im Adonai lo yishmor ir, Shav shakad shomer. I'll let Lee translate that one nicer.
Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman keeps vigil in vain.
It's a waste of time. If God's not watching it, right? So if God didn't build it, then you wasted your time building it. If God's not guarding it, right. Now you see that word Yishmor and Shomer? What is the essence of the 121st Mizmor? Anybody who sees it right away, if you have your charts, you could see it. It's in verse 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. What does it say? What does it say? Go ahead. Ali tel Ali anum shomrecha, right? Hine lo yamuli says shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha. Adonai tzilcha. It's God who does it. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra. It's God who's being shomer you. Adonai yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzitcha vecha. Me'ata ve'adolam. Forever, not temporarily. Some guy's doing it. So over here he says to Shlomo, not about Shlomo, because isn't he the one that built?
Yeah.
Isn't he the one that did the thing? And that was him. He was doing it. Well, that was a waste of time. Shav lachem meshkimei kum macharei shebet ochlei lechem ha'asavim ken yiten li dido shena. You could read that in English because we're
In vain do you rise early and stay up late, you who toil for the bread you eat.
good. Now, Hine nahalat Adonai, the nahalat Hashem is banim, sachar, peri, habatim. You know what the nahalat of God is? It is children. The reward, right? The reward of the peri habatin, of the fruit of the womb, right? That's what the Nahala is. Kehisim biyad gibor, like arrows in the hand of a warrior, can b'nei haneurim, so are the
Son's born to a man
in his youth. Asher hagebed. Now, of course, you're at the center one. Last verse, first word. Remember, this is in my excursus on Asher. This is the perfect example. It's the last verse, first word, middle mizmor. Asher hagebed, right? Asher is the man. Asher milet ashpato mehem, that filled his quiver with them. Lo yeboshu ki yedabiru et oibin mashar. They will not be shamed. I don't know how they say it in English.
put to shame.
They will not be put. Okay, same word. When they speak to the enemies at the gate.
So they're not using
Right?
arrows, they speak.
Not right. Happy is the man who fills his quiver not with arrows, but with those children. Now, why are the words? What is the two center words of all of the shirei hama'alot? It's in verse 1, verse 3, the middle verse of the 127th Mizmor, and it's the last two words. What are they? Pri habatin. Now listen carefully. Nobody knows how powerful this emphasis is. The pri habatin is what it's all about. Like the arrows, right? Like the arrows in the hand of the gibor. That's what those young men are. Asher hagebed. Asher is the person who fills up his quiver with them. They will speak to the enemy at the gates. And what will they bring about? A paradigm shift in. They'll now bring a revolution in thought. That's what's going to bring a change, right? A revolution in thought. Now listen carefully. What does the 8th Mizmor say? That nobody has ever known it until we spoke about it. By the way, when I gave the lecture in Israel to the biggest Bible scholar in the room, at the end of the class, they asked me to teach 8. It was an hour and a half later. I said, no one has ever known what these words means. From the mouths of the babies and the sucklings, you set up the foundations of strength, right, to bring a cessation of enemy and avenger. From the mouth, nobody knows what it means. When I told them that it means the fourth generation, and that it's the Berit Bnei Betarim, and this is the Mizmor of the Berit Bnei Betarim, and it's like right when I look at the heavens, and it's all it's duplicating what it says in Abraham's thing. So he turned around, he says, "I have one thing to tell you. That's the first time I ever heard," and he's read every Pirush, modern, he goes, "First time anybody have said anything about it. Isn't that nice?" He said, "Never," because all the other ones are all just some midrashic statement. They're clueless on it. So when you come to the middle of the shirei hama'alot, when you come to the center word, you know what he says? He says, "Pri habatim." When you fill your quiver up with those children, that is the future. That is what the covenant is all about.
So children, it's not just physical children. What is he
The idea
like?
of the young of the children of the future, who will be the ones that will set the stage for bringing about a revolution in thought, and therefore change the world. And it's so when you say, does he really mean children? Of course he means children in the metaphorical sense.
Right.
You're filling your quiver.
Doesn't mean have 10, 12 kids. He's not.
No, it means that those children will be the ones, your children will be the ones that will bring about, right, the next generation. Now, but look what it's attached to, 128. Shir hama'alot, the very next Mizmor's first word, right? Now you're right off center, Ike. Right off center. Now Asher is the first word of the first verse. Asher kol yirei Adonai haolech b'drachav. Go ahead, Lee.
Happy are all those who fear the Lord, who follow his ways.
Yegia kapecha ki tochal ashrecha v'tov lach.
You shall enjoy the fruit of your labors. You shall be happy and you shall prosper.
Now, these words are of the most powerful words in all of Tanakh. Eshtecha kegefen poriyah v'yalkete betecha.
Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine within your house.
Fruitful vine. Remember, Peri Habaten is the children. Now, look at the imagery that the Navi sets up for the future. You're at your house. Your wife your wife is like a fruitful vine in where? In where, Lee?
House.
In your
Within
house.
your house, right.
What?
Within your house.
Within your house. Banecha kishtile zetim sabei b'shulchanecha.
Your sons like olive saplings around your table.
This is the imagery of a guy on Friday night at a table with his wife and his children and his sons and his daughters, right? Look at the imagery. Yebarechecha Adonai mitzion.
May the Lord bless you from Sion.
Ur'eh betub Yerushalayim kol yemei hayecha.
May you share your prosperity of Yerushalayim all the days of your life.
Ur'eh banim lebanecha.
And live to see your children's children.
Right? Shalom al Yisrael.
It's also shalom because you're speaking also now. It's not war. There's no more hisim.
That's right. Right.
The other one is also a play.
Now,
It's showing you before that your work was toil for nothing.
right.
Now you're going to have food. And
You're gonna have everything is going to work for you. But now you see the word kehitzim biyad gibor. That's the future. Verse 4, 127, 4. Now go to the opening Mizmor 127, also 4. And what are the words, AB? 120, verse 4. The opening to shirei hama'alot.
120 verse 4.
That's those arrows that are arrows that are out to kill you.
Right.
This is the arrows at the center, right?
Right.
Now listen carefully. That imagery at the center, at the eighth Mizmor, at the center word, is an absolute duplication of the eighth Mizmor in Tehillim that says, "Mipi olimi yonakibi sadata ozle mansorecha," from the mouth of babes. That's the Berit Bnei Betarim. We have 100 pages on this in volume 1 talking about this. How we prove beyond doubt that that's what the eighth Mizmor. So now you come to the eighth. It's not the eighth Mizmor. It's the eighth out of the 15 and the center and the two center words.
Would you say 127 also is the answer to 49? 49. It's like, don't worry, everything you earning money, this doesn't get you anywhere.
But this will get you everywhere.
The answer.
That's
What
correct.
we're going after.
That's correct, because that's all about death, and that's all about there's nothing, there's no future. You can't make with you.
Right.
This is eternal. This stays with you forever. This is the most spectacular vision that you could have.
Really like Rabbi Sassoon's philosophy in
Sure.
Mizmor, right? One
That's right.
free,
Yeah, yeah.
the whole thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Now, I have an interesting thing to tell you. How many words are there before Peri Habashim? Take a guess. 404. How many words after Peri Habatim?
404.
Total?
808.
808.
Plus 2 is 8.
Go to the 132nd Mizmor. I told you this will be a lot of fun for you.
804. 808.
404 before, 404 after.
Plus 2 is 810.
No, but it's
There's 808 words around
The round. Okay.
the Peri
You
Habatim.
said total. Okay.
Right? I said the total of 404 and 404 is 808
Total.
around Peri Habatim, right? So Peri Habatim is everything. It is what it's all about. But it's all about how that is turned into Ki Yedaberu et Oivim Bashar. They're going to be like fruitful vines, your wife, your children, the atmosphere, and how you bring them up. But now listen carefully. When you get to 132, which is the long Mizmor, right? You see it? its words are like this. Take a look. I'm not going to read the whole Mizmor to you now, right? In fact, I will. AB, read it. It's worth reading.
שיר המעלות, זכור אדוני לדוד את כל ענותו, אשר נשבע אדוני נדר לאבי יעקב.
Now, every time you say im, say it with emphasis. Go.
אם אבוא באוהל ביתי, אם אעלה על ארץ ישועי, אם אתן שנת לעיני, לעפפי תנומה, עד אמצא מקום לאדוני, משכנות לאבי יעקב. הנה שמעונה באפרתה, מסעונה בשדה יער. נבוא על משכנותיו, נשתחווה לאדום רגליו. קומה אדוני למנוחתך, אתה ואהרון עוזיך, כהניך יקדשו צדק, וחסידיך ירננו.
Im, and im. Over there, it's like a promise, right? But now watch what happens.
ועבור דוד עבדיך, אל תשב פני משיחיך.
Because David, don't reject him, right?
נשבע אדוני לדוד אמת, לא ישוב ממנה.
He swore to David, right? And he won't, lo yashuv mimena. Because the words before are al tashef pnei mishecha. Says lo yashuv mimena.
פרי בטנך.
Oh, peri habaten.
Right.
Now, what did he tell him? Peri betnecha what? I'll go ahead, Lee. What does that mean?
One of your own issue I will set upon your throne.
Right, from your peri habal, set upon your throne. But you know what? Only
אם ישמרו בניך בריתי ועדותי זו אלמדם, גם ביניהם עד עד, ישרו נכסה לך.
that's im yishmeru
Right.
banecha beriti. You see the word shomer is coming up now?
Right. And
The whole covenant is all dependent upon
keeping the brit.
if.
אם ישמרו.
It's all,
If.
it's all right. It's all conditional.
Additional stuff.
Everything is conditional. There's no lock over here. It's if there's no such thing. There's going to be a great future. Yeah, that's if you if you do it. Im. So he comes there and says, no. Im yishperu banecha beriti. You see that word beriti? It's in this mizmor. It's 131 word mizmor. How many words before beriti, Morris? Take a guess. 80.
Okay.
How many words after beriti? 50.
The middle word.
It's 80. It's
Okay.
80 before.
50th.
There's 80 before, 50 after, 130 words surrounded. Which mizmor of the 15 is this? The 13th mizmor.
Oh.
So the 13th mizmor, which has the most to say, which again works like the Peri Habatin. It's what surrounds the Peri Habatin that makes the covenant. It's what surrounds the Berit that makes the covenant. And the words right before is Im Yishmeru Banecha. It's conditional. It's not up to me. It's up to you. If you live up to the demands of the covenant, if you live up to your part of the bargain, so to speak, and then the covenant is in effect, and then it all works.
Is it not the 12th verse?
It's the 12th verse. Yeah, you're right. There's something to that. There's something to say for that, right? So,
And then it says, Ki bachar Hashem b'Tzion yivav Moshe.
Is there,
That's the pasuk right after.
they actually.
right.
Pesukim out of context.
Eval Moshav law.
You
Right.
to my deeds,
That's correct.
and then God will choose you.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we took these
If you commit, then I commit.
That's correct. That's correct.
out of context when we open up the add-on. We took these pesukim out of the context of what's going on here. and
Yeah.
We open up the add-on and we're praising without the ramifications of not.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Correct. When you say Kohanecha, that's
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah, we say it, we take out the Torah and celebratory and stuff like that, but it's really a little bit of
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
the whole, in the whole scope of the whole mizmor,
Right.
it's sort of just, it's putting you on notice, so to speak.
Well, not in a bad way, not in a bad way. It's
telling you, if
it's
you do it,
telling you,
get rewarded.
yeah, it's gonna be.
It's not showing you the bad consequences of not doing it.
Barech, Ebyoneha,
But avoid
As we-
David, if it goes to David, don't reject your, which means. We're dealing with a situation.
so the answer is I will live up to the deal.
No, we say for the sake of David, though. For the sake, not because
Does it mean David? Now you're getting into a complicated thing. What does it mean, Babu David Abdecha? What is it with David, and what is with the David part of it?
But is it not contrasting Shlomo?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm only.
Makes a promise to David.
I understand. So what do you mean because David?
So what?
Because of David.
When Shlomo messed up, he said, "David, I'm going to keep the kingship in your family."
Right, he does say.
He says, he tells him straight out.
Yeah, but is everything because of David? The whole freaking world.
No, but he made a promise to David.
I understand. Who's that promise to on a larger scale? I'm asking you.
To the nation.
To the nation.
Right.
David is nothing more than the way you refer to the nation.
When they're obeying God.
But we're referencing a
Yeah.
specific story.
All of
No,
this is about.
I just think it's completely contrasting the Shlomo thing. That's been the Afasin and this.
Well, that's why the Shlomo is one. That's why.
I'm saying.
Straight to Melachim, straight to the end of Shemuel, when he tells Shlomo, you messed up because your father, your kid's going to take over.
Correct. Because he didn't turn to idolatry.
What?
There's only one thing you can hold on to in the entire monarchy.
Is David was Hashem?
He blew it on a million fronts, correct?
Morally, it was a disaster. Right.
But he kept out
Right.
Right.
He killed it. Forget about it.
Right. There was no Avodah
And it closes like,
Didn't do all of that.
and Shemuel closes on a disastrous thing. He says, I feel like doing, he hands over the kids to be killed.
Adultery, murder.
No, he hands over the kids to be killed.
That's the guy.
David gives the Gibbonim, the children of Shaul, to be slaughtered,
Right.
Right.
to stop the
Okay, fine. Yes. Yeah.
to stop the famine, right?
Oh, right.
And God gets even angrier,
And then
and then he makes
That's what you gave in.
then he makes a census, and a plague breaks out,
Right.
and that's the end of the story.
Right.
That's the end of
Next time he's old and feeble.
No, that's the end. No, it opens on he's old and
The
feeble.
next scene you see after he does the
Yeah, because that's the end, right? So the monarchy, nothing was good about the monarchy. You can only be able to reference day one, and not the first monarch.
Not sure.
Well, certainly not. Certainly not. You're not going to be able to reference that. You can only reference David, who was in touch with prophets and was under the control of the prophets and stayed under their control, so to speak, right?
Submitted to them.
What?
Submitted to them.
He submitted, right? He says Hatati, right? They're the main guys. Otherwise, so
Is he the only one? Pretty much.
no, there were other ones.
That
There were other
committed to
good.
the
There were other good prophets, kings. A few of them, not a lot, but there were.
David is still in contact with Shemuel.
Right. He stays in contact. Right.
Shemuel's still on the scene.
That's correct. That's correct.
Also, it's a paradox.
Interesting. That's what we all know about.
David is so flawed, like we're all flawed. You know, it's a good.
That's
The
correct.
most flawed individual.
And I think what Lee just said is, for me, the single most important point. Why do we use it? Because he's every man, right? He's flawed. How flawed?
Very.
You can't get more flawed than that. But
Loved and favored.
he says, I blew it.
Yeah, he did this shit.
He breaks down. He says, I blew it. He does not resort to idolatry. Fact.
Never.
He does not resort to idolatry. He's all kinds, but he's not an idolater. His son does, right? But he doesn't resort to idolatry. So it's sort of what, like you say, it's the super flawed thing that you've got to make a correction to, and you've got to fix because this was a problem.
You see, when the Aaron comes back, he's dancing. He's really into Hashem.
Correct. So now, I think the fact that you see this picture like that, I want to just take you to one. We have 5 minutes, and I want to take you to one scene in where the Shlomo superscription. Remember, this is going to be a podcast about superscriptions. So you see, it says Shlomo, and we read Im Adonai lo yibnei bayit shav amilu bonav, and Im Adonai lo yishmor ir shav shakad shomer. Right. So I want you to all turn to Yirmiyah, chapter 23, and I want to read something to you. Never fails to completely, right?
24.
Sorry, 22, 13. Watch this statement now. Hoy bonet. You remember the words of the opening of the middle mizmor that I just now read? Yeah, read it again one more time before we start reading. Read. Right. You got that? Hoy bonet beto below sedek. Woe unto him who builds his house without sedek. Ve'aliotav below mishpat. Aliotav means this is, if you see how Shlomo's house built, he had second and third stories, right? And he had windows, haloneh, right? And he had arazim, it is, right? B're'ehu ya'abod hinam.
Who makes his fellow man work without pay?
Who did he make work without pay? Ve'u'po'alo lo yiten lo.
And does not give him his wages.
You hear this? Woe unto him who builds his house. Listen to the words. Right. Listen to the charge. You took the northerners.
No, he's talking about Paro.
Stop. Oh, nice guy. Nice.
It's not making use of this one.
He says he works for his bere'ehu hinam for nothing. And he doesn't pay him his wages. Haomer. He who says, watch this, Ebne li bet midot. Go ahead, Lee.
I'm sorry. With
verse 14. He who says, I will build.
Who thinks I will build me a vast palace.
Va'aliyot meruvahim.
With spacious upper chambers.
Upper chamber, the second floor. V'karat lo halonai.
Provided with windows.
V'safun ba'ares.
Held in cedar, cedar.
Umashoach b'shashar.
Painted with vermilion.
You hear that? Woe unto that guy. Who does he think? Who do you think of when you read this? Hatem Loch, right?
Do you think you are more a king?
Because
you compete in cedar?
You think you're more of a king because, listen to this now, us. Look what he tells him. He's talking. Listen carefully. He's talking to the king. Abicha, hello, achal, v'shata, v'asa mishpat, utzedakah, az tov lo. He's talking about Yoshiyahu, your father. Go ahead, look how nice.
Father ate and drank and spent justice.
They actually go back to 11.
Then all went well with him.
1 minute. I will go back. 1 minute. Let's finish the point. Achal, look at the words. Didn't your father eat and drink? He had a good life, right? And he did mishpat and tzedakah, and things were good for him. Dan din ani ve'ebyon.
He upheld the rights of the poor and needy.
As tob.
Then all was well.
Halo he hadat otinu Adonai.
That is truly heeding me.
Again, you could finish it off. Go ahead.
But your eyes and your mind are only on ill-gotten gains, on shedding the blood of the innocent.
Al dam naki. Lishpoch, Val Oshek. Go ahead.
On committing fraud and violence.
Now, you know who he's talking to? Go back to verse 11 now. Look who he's speaking to. Kicho amar Adonai il Shalom ben Yoshiyahu. Shalom. Shalom ben. Who is Shalom ben Yoshiyahu? Who are the kings? There was. But who is the king?
Yoyakim.
Yoyakim and Yoyakim.
It says in 18.
Yeah. But who's Shalom? So now, Joe, you could say it. He's making a play on Shalom, right? He's calling him Shalom. You know what he's calling him? You are like exactly what he was.
So he takes the hay off his name.
Yeah. Yeah, not peace, right? Right. Whoever left this place is never coming back again. in the place that they will exile him. Yamut, he'll die. He'll never see the land again. So those words that we just now read, Hoy Boneh Beitel, sounds exactly like the middle of the Shirei hama'alot. Exactly like that statement, Hoy Boneh Beitel. And what is it on? That's the only other Lishlomo. The only other Lishlomo in Tehillim is the 72nd and closing Mizmor of Book 2, which opened up on Bnei Korah, and now he concludes with the words, this is what he could have been. This is what a great leader could have been.
Question, the Ashre, is this the only Ashre over here? And then the Ashre 144, which paraphrases 8 all the way.
That's correct. It's amazing. It's amazing. This word, this is going to take you back to the beginning, right?
No, but to the end.
And to the end.
That is, 144 is all.
Is 18 and 8.
Yeah.
Right? Combined. He quotes both. Plays on it.
Direct
And then 8, and then 18 direct quotes from 8. So 8 will play a key role. 8 will come. Now, what's amazing is that the 8th Mizmor, nobody in the world knows what I'm telling you now.
Take it.
The 8th Mizmor and the 8th Mizmor of Tehillim and the 8th Mizmor of the Shirei hama'alot with its center word and the closing words of Tehillim all say the same exact thing. That the future lies in the children and the education of the children and the education of the future, and none of it is today. None of it is what Eliyahu was demanding. And as Morris, as we said before, so perfectly says it, it was deception Yaakov tried. And you can't get there by deception. He attempts to deceive the people with good intention. Remember, Eliyahu does it with good intention. Don't work, right? Say it.
You just said it.
I know. I just want you to laugh.
It's not also that, because he writes that here in Yirmiyah, what we just read. It's the same exact thing, that when you do it, where is it? He did. As tob lo.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Ashlecha betob lach.
Yes. Oh, very good. Perfect. I didn't see that one. Yeah, he's working right off of these words. He's working off of these words. That's what was good for him. Right?
But the Navi said it's not just the future, it's you have to work for the future.
Right.
You can't just say, oh,
Just hope.
you can't hope and say it'll be taken care of. You got to work now so that work for the future.
Right. That's all of the book of Eov. It's conclusion. You want it to happen, make it happen. You got to work on it. You've got to make it happen. And I'll help you, but you've got to, and that's why those words are so important. It's all conditional. Nothing is going to happen. There's no luck and there's no magic. There's no magic. There's no miraculous things. Nothing's going to happen.
Tells Eliyahu, go to work.
Go to work. Go to work. Isn't it great? I think it's very, very
And
beautiful.
look at the Torah. In Israel, the first generation doesn't enter the.
Right.
That's correct.
What you used to know what you was talking about.
This was the
Yeah.
only
Because
Mizmor
we eat the
Shlomo.
children.
The whole one.
And except for 72, which talks about what a monarch could have been, what a monarch should be. All right, guys, we're stopping the recording. I hope you all enjoyed. Oh, I see Louis Shammy. Nice to see you, Louis. Very nice.
All right, it's a pleasure to join. I gotta catch up.
Great. I hope you enjoyed anyway. All right. Pleasure. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Okay. Have a good one.
I was talking too much about the class and everything.
Let me just stop the recording. Stop.